Oh, come on. Come on, come on. Holy shit, there it is. Guys, let me know in the chat room if you can hear me. Had a couple instances in the past when I started talking and the sound wasn't on. Always let me know in the chat room if you can hear the sound of my voice. I can hear you. Great. You know, about an hour before I was going to start this thing, OBS decided that it was just not going to cooperate. I thought I had everything worked out, and then suddenly I get the quit unexpectedly message over and over again. I don't know what the hell's going on. For some reason, I always, like, it can never be easy when I try to stream. There's always some kind of problem. I don't know what the hell it is. God knows the phone service sucks in this area. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. All right, but hey, live streams are back. Silver lining. All right, maybe. Oh, here it is. Anyway. So I used to review the Marvel shows this way. A couple of years back, like the first round of shows, I was doing it like this, and eventually I had to stop because my computer was kind of old back then, and there was always some kind of problem. Also, I got sick from something during the pandemic, not from COVID, from something else, and my voice just didn't last very long. So I was always like coughing and clearing my throat. It was not a fun experience. So it just wasn't working out anymore. So I had to kind of put a stopper on the live streams for a while. Fast forward a couple years, now I have a new computer. It's about a year old at this point. And I finally found some combination of antibiotics and stuff that kind of mitigate the symptoms on whatever has been screwing with me this whole time. So the symptoms are okay. My throat is less phlegmy now. I can breathe better. So I figure maybe it's time to bring the live streams back finally. I mean, I tended to suck at live streaming, but I think it would work better to review Daredevil because with episodes dropping on Tuesday night, it doesn't really fit in my schedule. I did a video review of the first 2 episodes, and I also wanted to review Mickey 17 that weekend, but I couldn't because I was working on the Daredevil video at the time, so I kind of missed out on that one. And I figure, well, if I go back to live streaming, then I can save a lot of time, then I can still do movie reviews on the weekend. So I'm sorry to anyone who enjoyed the video reviews, but I mean, that video didn't get a ton of views anyway. But if we do it this way, then you get more content from me. So hopefully this will work out. So the way I used to do these would be basically the same way I do video reviews. I'll just go through the episode. I will spoil everything. I will give you my thoughts on the episode. In the meantime, guys, get your super chats in if you are so inclined. We'll do those at the end, and then we'll get out of here. Okay? So, as long as looks like it is still working. Sorry, I'm just really paranoid about that because there's always some kind of problem. Okay, so Daredevil, Born Again, Episode 3. 3 episodes into the 9-episode season. We're already a third of the way through the season. Holy shit, how did that happen? It's only been 2 weeks. Who knows? All right, so I'm just going to move this over here so I can see the chat room. That's right, professional YouTuber right here. I know exactly what I'm doing. All right, so the other day there was this tweet from the MCU News account, I think. It was something like that, which said that episodes 2 and 3 of Born Again were originally going to be episodes 1 and 2 before the retooling happened. Now, I have no idea if that's true or not, but if it is true, it does explain a few things about the wonky timeline, how the election happened so quickly and stuff like that, which I was talking about in my review of the premiere. it also tracks with what we heard about the earlier version of the show, how it was going to be a legal procedural with no Daredevil for the first several episodes. So obviously, when the current showrunner took over after they fired the previous showrunners, they shot a new first episode and probably some new scenes that could be spliced in there to make the transition a little more smooth. Now, I'm not even saying they did a bad job with that, but we might need to get through a bit of a rough patch once in a while before the show gets back to the good stuff. Because I think they're using more of the original version of the show than I thought they would. Than I thought they would, right? Anyway, I thought episode 3 was weaker than the first two. Not a bad episode by any stretch, but they're still in slow burn mode this week. In fact, there was no action in this episode at all. And I think the audience will tolerate that only so long. You know, maybe you can do that one episode at a time, but they're following episode 2 that had no action until the last 30 seconds. So to do another episode after that where it's just drama, even if it's good drama, that's just, I don't think that's giving the audience what they're here for. Krispy Kreme, I see you in the chat. Thank you for the super chat. I'll get to those at the end, but I will read every super chat. Don't worry. Anyway, this week we get the Hector Ayala trial and also the beginnings of the descent in the criminal underworld. Now that Kingpin is trying to change his ways, because with him not seated at the head of the table anymore, there's no one to keep the lower criminals in line. And Vanessa was doing that, but now she has to play the mayor's wife, and it's not clear why she had to stop handling the business. I mean, yeah, they don't want her to be connected to anything because, I mean, as the mayor's wife, there's going to be a lot of attention on them, and they, you know, if somebody starts poking around, they don't want to be found out or have anybody start connecting those dots, seeing who, like, the various gangs are reporting to. Hey, I know her. Mayor's wife? What the hell's going on here? They don't want to be connected to any of that. But there really should have been a scene where it was explained that she was stepping away from that stuff in order to insulate them, basically. Because it seemed like that happened off screen. So the lower gangs are getting a little unruly now. And there's a scene where the Irish mob try to jack the truck of another mob. And it was a little confusing because it seemed like this was just business as usual. And it's like, okay, this gang is just going to take the truck of the other gang and whatever they're hauling, and they're just going to allow this because why? I don't know. Some of these details are a little bit unclear. Anyway, one of the guys in the truck is feeling a little too froggy for his own good, and him and the driver both get shot. So when the Fists get word of this, it's interesting because there's been kind of a role reversal here. Vanessa is eager to get back to the illegal stuff, to get the mobs in line or whatever. She thinks that without somebody like her or Wilson to control everything, there's going to be chaos everywhere. But Wilson just wants to stay out of it. In his own way, he's really trying to keep his hands clean, even though his knuckles are bloody. Which means that Wilson has, you know, and that probably means that he's been torturing Adam to death in his free time. It's not clear how Wilson thinks this situation is going to be resolved if his plan is to just do nothing. I mean, they kind of talk about that a little bit later, but isn't this problem just going to get worse in the meantime? I don't know. We go to the courthouse where one of the crooked cops Matt beat the shit out of last week confronts him in the bathroom, but Matt's just not having it with the intimidation tactics and really just bitch slaps this clown with legal speak. Didn't even have to raise a hand to him because he's Matt Murdock, motherfucking attorney at law, and that's what he does. And again, it makes me wonder, why is it that Marvel can write a lawyer who actually knows what he's doing and is really good at it, but the She-Hulk writers were so utterly clueless with the legal stuff? Jen Walters was a terrible lawyer. Fucking terrible. And it really seemed like that was not intentional. Like she just came off that way because the writers were fucking stupid. Why is it so easy for one team to get this right and so hard for another when it's the same studio producing both shows? It's so weird. Anyway, the crooked cop gets on the stand and paints himself as completely innocent, says that Hector just attacked him and his partner unprovoked and murdered the partner in cold blood, says that the informant they were beating up, Nicky Torres, was never there, has no idea who he is, or so he says, and Matt hears another cop in the audience telling someone that Torres cannot testify. If he testifies, they're screwed. And this cop has a tattoo of the Punisher logo, as does the cop who just lied his ass off on the stand. Also, there's a scene where the Punisher logo is getting, spray painted like a graffiti on a wall somewhere. So they're going somewhere with that. And the investigator guy who works for Matt got Torres somewhere safe after last week. And they're trying to get him to the courthouse to testify without getting killed by these crooked cops. And one of them tries to head him off on the way there. But because investigator guy is really smart, the van they thought this Nicky Torres was in was a diversion, and Torres shows up safely at the courthouse in a taxi, still very much alive. And isn't it so nice when characters are smart like this? Like, there was nothing really complicated about this sequence. It's just the good guys anticipated trouble and outmaneuvered the crooked cops because they were just more clever than the bad guys. You can't do that so often that the bad guys look like idiots, but stuff like this is what makes me want to root for the protagonist, because you're showing us that these guys know what the fuck they're doing. And again, I really shouldn't have to point that out, but again, we're following up on She-Hulk here, where these characters had no idea what the hell they were doing. They're all freaking terrible lawyers. This is what they do for work. This is their career. This is their profession, and they're utterly clueless. So seeing characters who are actually good at this shit is very refreshing. So Torres gets on the stand, and he admits that he is a police informant, but he gets cold feet when asked about the beating in the subway because the courthouse is full of cops giving him the stink eye, at least some of which are conspiring to kill him right now. So he caves in and says he stayed home all night. That's their only witness. And I promise I don't mean to keep comparing this show to She-Hulk. I really don't. But I think it's relevant here because they're both lawyer shows. When Matt and Jen Walters were facing off against each other in court, Matt completely trounced Jen. Completely just kicked her ass. And not because he was a better lawyer, although he was, but because Jen didn't do her homework on the case and had no idea that her client's supersuit broke down because he went against the instructions given to him and used the wrong fuel. Jen lost that case because she was a fucking idiot. Here, Matt takes an L, not because he did anything wrong, but because the bad guys have moves they can play too. So we have good guys who are doing everything right so far, but they've still got their backs against the wall because it's just a really tough situation. Lawyer shows are not my cup of tea. They never have been. But if you want to make lawyer shit interesting, that's how it's done. It's not rocket science. You just start with not having characters who are supposed to be smart acting like complete dumbasses. Really not that complicated, guys. Then we see Mayor Fisk's British assistant trying to calm the tensions between the rival gangs. He sends word from the mayor that one gang owes the other such and such amount of money for killing two of their guys. And this gang is not happy about the mayor's errand boy trying to flex at him. But British assistant guy doesn't work for the mayor. He works for the man. Not Becky Lynch, though there are some pissed off Irish people here, weirdly enough. The other man, Vanessa. So he was here on Vanessa's orders. She's trying to keep the peace, trying to avoid things devolving into chaos, but Wilson thinks a little bit of chaos is good. which Vanessa interprets as him just passive-aggressively undermining her as punishment for whatever she was doing with Adam, who we still haven't met. And I don't think is going to be in very good condition when we do meet him. This is good stuff here. It's interesting that Vanessa was all in on being Mrs. Fisk when she knew Wilson was a ruthless thug, but then he got shot in the head. He's trying in his own way to go legit now, but she's got a taste of power and she doesn't want to give it up. So weirdly enough, it could actually be Vanessa who drags Wilson back to his criminal ways, when originally it was Wilson who dragged Vanessa into that world in the first place. So back in court, the witness they needed has been scared into silence, so with no other options, Matt takes a big swing and reveals to the court that Hector is the White Tiger. And I don't know how he can do this, because they just told us in the previous episode that the White Tiger stuff was non-admissible. Now, thankfully, in the next scene, the judge points this out. This is some bullshit, Murdoch, what the hell are you doing? The opposing team's lawyer calls Matt a hypocrite, and he's not exactly wrong, because Matt did pull a complete 180 here. Last week, he, bent over backwards to get the White Tiger stuff stricken from the case. Now he's the one who introduced it. And Matt somehow manages to talk his way out of this. And now the White Tiger thing will be a part of the case, so that's another W for Matt. But I'm not sure how you don't just declare a mistrial at this point. Instead, the trial just continues on because the judge is like, fuck it, I guess I can't take it back now. So there's definitely some the plot says so stuff going on here. And the writers try to grease the wheels to make it work. And they do a better job of it than a lot of other shows would have, but I'm really not sure how Matt got away with this one. I mean, the writers aren't even really denying that it's a the plot says so situation here. But again, it's like the judge says, well, I could declare a mistrial, but it's out there now, so what are we going to do? Okay, but you could still just declare a mistrial. Wouldn't you get a chance to get some different jurors in there? Because, this jury just had this White Tiger revelation just thrown at them. I don't know. It's very strange. But anyway, Matt talks to Hector, says if they win this case, his White Tiger days are over, and he might be surprised how much he doesn't miss it. But Hector says he can't just stop. The White Tiger is who he is. It's his calling. And they're talking about Hector, but really they're talking about Matt here. Matt's really trying to convince himself that he doesn't miss being Daredevil, and Hector's explaining why Matt can't just stop being Daredevil. It's all perfectly fine stuff. But it's getting to be that time where they need to step on the gas and get Matt back in the suit. Or at least throw an action scene in there, because I thought that's where we were headed after last week, but apparently not. So Matt gets a bunch of people that the White Tiger has helped in the past to come in and testify that this guy is a hero. He makes his final argument that this guy is a hero. The opposing lawyer makes his argument that good people can also do bad things, which seemed like the more convincing argument to me. But I think the deciding factor here was that Hector actually sounded sincere, whereas when he was on the stand, whereas the crooked cop was lying a little too obviously. So Hector is found not guilty. I like the acting in that scene a lot. He sells that relief very well. Kingpin is not happy, though. He does another interview with BB Urich, so they're going to be using her to get the message out. He knows that she's an honest journalist, but he's trying to use that to his advantage. So in a way that hasn't really been revealed yet. And so they do another sit-down interview, and Fisk talks about how it's a miscarriage of justice. Hector is obviously guilty, but, juries get it wrong sometimes. I should know, wink. And again, he tries to demonize masked vigilantes, which was a big part of the campaign he ran on, the campaign that we never saw. He ran on promising to get rid of these vigilantes, and the acquittal of Hector demands that he keep that promise. And then we see Hector suiting up again as the White Tiger, walking out into the streets for a minute. He runs towards someone screaming for help and then gets shot in the head by someone wearing the Punisher insignia on their shirt. I don't think Frank Castle did that. We've seen in the last 2 episodes that the corrupt cops have kind of co-opted the Punisher logo for some nefarious purpose. We don't know what that's about yet, but that's where the episode ends. And I like this episode for what it was. I thought the story was compelling. I'm really enjoying the characters. The acting was good. But if someone else wants to argue that it's too slow-paced or needs some action or needs a faster pace or needs whatever, I'm not going to argue with that. Matt Murdock may be a lawyer, but I don't think Daredevil fans are tuning in to see a lawyer show. That's part of it, sure. And I am glad to see... I am glad that we're continuing to see Matt being a really good lawyer. But we need to accelerate this. We do need a little bit of punchy, boom, boom stuff after there was almost none last week. Now, I think an easy fix for this would have been to do flashbacks where we see the White Tiger doing all the things that the witnesses said he did. Saving lives, being a hero, doing cool action shit. Because we talk about the White Tiger a lot in these last 2 episodes, but we never actually saw him in action even once. We never saw him doing anything except breaking up the fight in the subway, and he wasn't even in costume when he did that. Yeah, we saw like a 5-second clip of security camera footage on the news of him stopping a convenience store robbery, and that's it. Now, how can you do a whole story about this guy and then never actually show him doing anything in his costume except getting shot in the head? I mean, they kind of made White Tiger look like a chump there. You know, showing him doing something impressive action-wise would have helped that a lot, I think. You know, show it in flashbacks, or, I don't know, maybe fight the guy with the gun on the street for a minute or something. Just do something other than just running down the street and getting shot in the head by a guy who's just standing there. So here's what I think. I think that there's more of the original version of Born Again in here than I expected. They definitely shot some new material for these episodes, but there are times when there will be an awkward moment and it feels like the story skipped something or very suddenly goes in a different direction. I'm hoping they can smooth that stuff out as we get further into the season, but I guess they couldn't throw out all the stuff they shot previously because that would put them pretty far in the hole on this project. Because before the retooling, they shot like 9 episodes. So, I mean, if you're going to throw out all that, I mean, that's... You could probably shoot an entire big-budget movie for what that would cost. So, I mean, I don't blame them for trying to use some of that footage, but there's got to be a transition there. Anyway, I still think this was a good episode, but they do need to get a move on with the action next week. Like, Matt doesn't have to put the suit on, but it's time for him to start getting his hands dirty again. If the murder of Hector is what motivates him to do that, good, great. Just don't make us wait too much longer. Now, there was some stuff in the trailers where I think it was like a bank robbery or something. There were a bunch of thugs with masks, and Matt was not in the suit, but he was beating up one of them. So maybe this is what gives Matt the itch to just get back out there and start dispensing vigilante justice again. I hope so. Look, I don't need to see Daredevil next week. I just needed to see Matt doing something other than being a lawyer. Because I like that it's good lawyer shit, but I'm not tuning in to see a procedural. Okay. Okay. So it can be Daredevil doing action shit. It can be Matt Murdock doing action shit. I just need to see some action. All right? Okay. Let's see. Get your super chats in now. We're going to go over those. And then I guess we'll I don't know. We could talk for a little while. I don't want to. I don't think we'll go too long here because, again, I don't want to really strain my voice too much because it does feel better, but I feel kind of paranoid about it. And yeah, see right there. It still doesn't last too long. It does feel better than it did previously, though. Krispy Kreme, thank you for the $5 super chat. I still remember your Fool Killer live streams back in the day. Oh, yeah, that was a while ago, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean, hopefully I've come up a little bit in the YouTube community since then. Man, I remember I would back on my old channel. I would do these weekly live streams where I talk about all the weekly comic book shows. So I talk about like The Flash and Arrow and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all the other ones, like all in one live stream. So I was covering like all the weekly shows in one live stream, and I think like on average maybe like 6 or 8 people would show up for it. Yeah, so, and here we've got, 79. Oh, that's nice. So we're doing a little better. People showed up to see me talk about Daredevil. Hey, that's very nice. Thank you so much. Did you notice that Brave New World, Thunderbolts, and Born Again ignore Secret Invasion? They take place 4 years later. Do they? Guys, here's something I don't think I've admitted to anyone. I didn't watch Secret Invasion. I kind of skipped that one. I think the excuse I was using, even though I was kind of happy to skip that one, is that it kind of coincided with me recovering from gum recession surgery. So I couldn't really talk because my gums were swollen. I had stitches in my mouth. I really couldn't talk at that time. So yeah, I didn't bother reviewing that one. And I'm like, well, look, if I don't have to review it, there's no way I'm watching this thing because it doesn't look good. I have no faith in this project, and so I didn't watch it, and I have no regrets. It wasn't very discreet for the cop to have the Punisher logo tattooed on his neck for everyone to see. Yeah, the damn cop in the courtroom had the Punisher logo right here. Like, is this not a secret? Or is it just all the cops are corrupt and nobody cares? Look, I know it's a TV show and we need to see the information, we need to see it. So maybe it was just like a practicality of the production they're doing here, but still, really? Like right in the neck, you couldn't just put it anywhere else? I love the fake out with the van. Yep, me too. Very cool. It's not that complicated. It just shows that the good guys are actually smart and they know what they're doing. Yeah, the gang owes him 1.8. 1.8 grams of weed? Possibly. I thought it might be $1.8 million, maybe? It was weird. They didn't specify about that, did they? It was just 1.8. Okay, 1.8 what? That could be anything. White Tiger was the biggest joke of this. The dude looked like a Power Ranger from Jungle Fury. Well, I don't disagree with you, but if he's only going to wear the suit one time for like 2 minutes, and we never really see him doing anything in this suit, I understand that they're not really going to break the bank on this thing. I mean, I don't expect them to spend like tens of thousands of dollars to make a cool looking suit. If it's just going to be in one scene, basically. I agree with you, by the way. I just. Been a long time since you were live. Yeah, it has been. A couple of years, I guess. I don't know if you were here earlier. I talked about it at the start of the stream. There was a bunch of reasons for that. It was technical problems, health problems, just a whole bunch of stuff. Hopefully, some of that stuff has been resolved now. Got a newer computer. I'm feeling somewhat better. I'm still sick. None of the doctors can figure out what's wrong with that. But I've got some new meds that are kind of sort of working now. Not on all the symptoms, but enough of them that I can try doing this again. Of course, then we had a problem with OBS, and I had to figure something else out at the last minute. Also, like I said, at the end of Secret Invasion, the world was in a panic mode, learning about the Skrulls. What happened then? LOL. That was 2026. Brave New World again is 2029. Oi. Well, I didn't watch Secret Invasion, but I spoiled myself. I watched a couple clips. I read the synopses and stuff, so I kind of know what happens. I guess apparently they had a Super Skrull with the powers of Captain Marvel as well as the powers of many other characters. Why they thought that was a good idea, I will never understand. Because what's the problem with Captain Marvel? What stops you from telling good stories about her, from telling compelling stories about her? She's too damn powerful. So what do we do here? Let's introduce a character that has all of Captain Marvel's powers, plus a whole bunch of other shit too. So no, I'm not surprised that they're completely ignoring that, because if they didn't ignore it, then they'd have to do something with it. They'd have to explain it. And they really can't, because that character is now a walking Deus Ex Machina. She'll be able to do literally anything. She's essentially the most powerful being in the universe. So that's a character that can basically do anything the plot requires. So if she shows up, then they don't have a plot. My prediction is we never see that character again. They're just going to pretend she doesn't exist. And I don't know what's going to happen with the Skrulls. You would think they would have followed up on that or resolved it in the Marvels, and I don't think they did. So yeah, this phase has been a bit of a mess. Well, there were more than one White Tiger. Yeah. I think he said he had a niece during his testimony. So maybe the niece like takes the amulet, and I don't know. In a couple of years, maybe she shows up in a Young Avengers project or something. If anyone is interested in Young Avengers, right now I'm just not. You weren't missing much with Secret Invasion. Yeah, that's the impression I got. Rhodey's been a Skrull since Civil War. Good Lord. Why would they think that was a good idea? So the Rhodey from Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, that Rhodey was a Skrull. So when Tony was saying goodbye to his best friend, wasn't really his best friend. So Rhodey comes back after being a Skrull prisoner and realizes, my best friend is dead. Okay, you gonna do anything with that? No? So why did you do it then? What purpose does this serve? it just makes anything Rhodey did in Infinity War and Endgame mean less now because we know it wasn't the real Rhodey. Stupid. Let's see. Are you reading any comics lately? Well, I'm not buying any comics lately because who the hell has the money for that? I mean, you get 4 comics, that'll cost you upwards of $20. No. There are a few that I read online. So I mean, I'll usually you know flip through like Amazing Spider-Man or a couple X-Men books. Since Krakoa ended, there are a couple X-Men books that I've actually keeping track of. Nothing I'm collecting monthly. I think I might buy the trades of Uncanny X-Men when they come out. I think the first one should be out pretty soon if it isn't already. That's been good so far. Kind of hit and miss for the last few issues. I think Gail Simone has really just does not want to be roped into the crossovers. But they just did like one after another right now. So there's a couple issues where she just wasn't having it. When she's just writing a story that she wants to write, that's been pretty good. That's been pretty good. I've enjoyed that. Adjectiveless X-Men it's been pretty consistent, but I'm not crazy about the roster. Having Magneto in there, just no thanks. I like what they're doing with Cyclops in that book too. And again, just Krakoa being done with finally is very refreshing. They're finally getting back to some sense of normalcy with the X-Men. I couldn't stand Krakoa. I completely checked out during that era. What do you think about Robert Downey Jr. being cast as Doom? I'm in a wait-and-see mode right now. I think it's kind of a baffling decision that we see a multiverse Doom before we see the real Doom in the Prime universe. It makes a little bit more sense that this was not Plan A, and they only arrived on Doom after Kang didn't work out for several reasons. I guess it could be cool, but I'm just done with the multiverse at this point. And the fact that we've got like 2 more movies of this, it just makes me tired. You know, I'm just waiting for it to be over so we can just get the X-Men in there and just move on to something else with a fresh start. How do you prefer NYX ending this year? I don't. I've kind of been. I'll kind of like I'll glance at NYX like a few months will go by. I'll go look at the back issues. I'll just flip through it really quickly. Oh, it's a stealth Kamala Khan solo book. Not really interested in this. There's a couple characters that I'm kind of sort of interested in there, though. I don't think it's a good book, particularly. I mean, if you shoehorn Kamala Khan into a book she has no business being in, it's going to be really hard for me to care. They do that so freaking much. But yeah, I mean, if they're following up on with the Academy X characters, and the only one of those that I really gravitated towards was Surge, who, of course, just got killed off for shock value in X-Force. A book that I was enjoying up until that point, and then I stopped reading it. And now the book got canceled, so it seems like they won't have time to bring her back before the book gets before the book gets axed. What stupid. Any opinion on Invincible? Yeah. Season 3 has been great. I mean, if you go back and watch my review of season 1, I think all that still applies. I continue to be impressed with how well they service the characters, because there's a lot of characters in that book, and it seems like almost every single one has some kind of story. They really did a lot with Rexplode this season. No spoilers on that. I really liked what they did with Rex and Shrinking Ray, which I don't think happened in the comics, because Ray was a guy in the comics. So that was a show edition, but it was really cool. I was glad Shrinking Ray finally got a story. I like Shrinking Ray. I don't know why. Just something about maybe it's the character design. I think it's the glasses. I think girls with glasses are hot. I don't care what anyone says. But yeah, I mean, Invincible's just really damn good. The wait between seasons kind of sucks, but I think they got it. They've shortened the hiatuses now. I mean, one between season 1 and 2 was like 2 years, but they've sped that up now. But yeah, if you're not watching Invincible, what's wrong with you? It's a great show. I could review it. I did review season 1. I didn't get a chance to do season 2. I may end up doing season 3 if the schedule works out. But the reason I switched to live streams for the Daredevil videos is because the schedule wasn't working out. Because if I told you how long it usually takes me to make a video, you guys probably would think I'm bullshitting you. But that's a very involved process. Like if I'm making a movie review, for example, I'll try to see the movie on Wednesday or Thursday, and then I'll try to write out what I'm going to say that night or the day after, and it really needs to be that night if I'm going to get this thing up on time. But then the following day, I'll shoot the review, which is usually a very long process depending on the length of the video. And then the next day I'll edit, and that's another all-night process. And if I'm lucky, I might get the video up by Sunday. So if there's like a streaming show I want to cover that drops on Tuesday or Wednesday, then I've got to pick and choose if I'm going to review the show or the movie. But if I'm just doing it on a live stream like this, I get the review out of the way in like an hour, then I can put it up, then I can move that out of the way, and then I can work on the movie review, and I could do both. I can't do both in review format. It just doesn't work. It takes too long. Now, I'm really envious of content producers who can watch a movie, then go home, turn on the camera, and just talk for 20 minutes or half an hour and make great points and say everything they want to say, and then just get the video up by the next morning. Like, I'm so jealous of people who can do that. That's not a talent that I have. My process is a lot slower. So that I can't do that really sucks. I wish I could do it that way, because I could put out so much more content than I do. But hopefully this works out, because it's nice that I can get. I was annoyed that I had to take a break from streaming for so long. But again, there was just a lot of stuff in the way, just as there was tonight, when I was planning to stream on OBS, and then I couldn't at the last minute because OBS decided to be a bitch. Lightland, can I get a shout out? Sure you can. There it is. Shout out to Lightland. Do you think Ava will be the white tiger in the show towards the end of the season? By Ava, I assume you mean Hector's niece. Probably not, because she looked like she was like 10 or 11 years old. I don't know if they're going to continue the legacy. I imagine it would go. Hector's niece would get the medallion, but I doubt it's going to happen anytime soon. Do you watch Cobra Kai? I do watch Cobra Kai. I got really heavily into it around seasons 3 and 4. I haven't seen the final season because they split that into three blocks of episode drops. So I told myself I'm just going to wait for all 3 and then I'll binge the whole thing. And I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. I will though. at some point. Callus1234, thank you for the super chat. It's a big one, 1999. Thank you very much. I've been watching you since the Supergirl videos. Long time follower here. I'm still wondering what that box is outside your front door. It's there right as you open the door. Do you mean, like, I guess in the intro? I didn't realize there was a box there. No, I don't see it. Huh. I don't know what you mean. A box right outside my front door. Although, I do have a lot of boxes in this apartment because I don't know. I have this problem with throwing things out. I think I get that from my dad. Because my dad never threw anything out, and yet he somehow produced like more garbage than any three people combined. But yeah, I still have the box that my vacuum cleaner came in. This box has been sitting here for like 2 years. I don't know why. I just haven't thrown it out. I don't know. Maybe it's an autism thing. I just get really paranoid. Just like a couple of weeks ago, I finally threw out the box my new microwave came in. That thing had been sitting there for months. I do have a lot of other boxes in here. I've got long boxes, nowhere else to put them. So I've got like 10, 11, 12 long boxes just lined up around the walls of this cramped little studio apartment. Got all the comics I've ever bought in there. That box is outside your front door. I'm sorry, Callus1234. I don't know what box you're referring to. If I think of it, I'll be sure to let you know. I don't get it. 3 episodes in, and I'm waiting for the titular character to show up. Yeah, I think the problem is the original version of Born Again, before the retooling happened, there was like a 4-episode stretch where there was going to be no Matt suiting up as Daredevil at all. And so I think what happened is they shot a new first episode, and then they're trying to like incorporate those, at least like some portions of the earlier version of the show, so they don't have to throw everything out. So I imagine there's going to be a stretch where we just don't see Matt suiting up as Daredevil. Now, I think there will be other action stuff in there, but I talked about this at the beginning of the review. There's going to be some rough patches because they're trying to incorporate old footage. I'm not wild about that idea, but I understand it may be necessary, just so they don't like completely take a huge loss on this show. Because they shot like 9 episodes before they shut it down and retooled the whole thing. And throwing out that much stuff, they can't just Batgirl the entire show, because that was like half of the production order. Because they were originally going to do 18 episodes, so they shot half the season before they changed everything up. I get that they want to use as much of that footage as they can. It's just, it is frustrating. I agree with you on that. Hector's niece is Angela Del Toro. The show aged her down. She was FBI in the comics. Ava Ayala in the comics is Hector's younger sister. Oh, okay. Both of them became the White Tiger. Daredevil trained Angela. All right. Oh, okay. So Ava is Hector's younger sister. Okay, well, and we saw the younger sister in the courtroom scenes. She was an adult. Did not look like the type that would be a costume vigilante. Maybe they can put her in the suit anyway? I don't know. I mean, she'd be wearing a mask. Could happen. I mean, if there's basis for it in the comics, who knows? White Tiger, magical amulet. He can do amazing things beyond humans. Gets shot in the head. Yeah, I didn't like that either. It's not like a big anticlimax for me. I mean, okay, this character is mystically empowered, goes down to a bullet in the head. We never saw him doing anything impressive either. Never saw him doing any crime fighting. We saw a few little seconds of news footage where he's like on a security camera stopping a convenience store robbery. That's it. We never saw him doing any cool action shit. And these 2 episodes were all about this guy, and we're just talking about how he does stuff off screen as the White Tiger. First time he suits up, gets shot in the head like a chump. Did not like that. Okay. I think we can go until about 11:30, and then we can call it there. So, get your super chats in. Talk a little bit longer. In case you're new and you haven't checked out any of these live streams before, I know I haven't done one in a long time, so a lot of people probably don't know. Once this live stream is over, I'll be putting the stream on private, and then I'll move it to the live streaming channel and upload it on there. The link for that should be in the video description if I remember to post it. Yeah. Live streaming channel, there's a link to it there. So if you just go over there and subscribe to that, I will put I'll be uploading this stream to that channel. And it's going to be privated, set to private on this one. Which is a lesson I learned during the pandemic when I was doing live streams pretty regularly, and it just killed my channel because those didn't get a ton of views, and apparently that's how the algorithm works, because if you do too many videos that don't get a lot of views, the algorithm just decides that you're not worth paying attention to, and I guess you don't get any like recommendations for other people to check you out, and your viewership drops off a cliff. And so lesson learned. So now that's why I started the live streaming channel. So once this stream is over, it's going to be set to private, and then like in the next day or two, I'll upload it to the live streaming channel. So go down below, click the link, subscribe to the live streaming channel. It's Therias Unlimited live streams. I just need to remember what the password is. I haven't logged into that one in a while. Let's see. Any thoughts on who Fisk is killing? His knuckles are always bloody. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Adam. Vanessa's boy toy? Maybe? The guy she had an affair with? Maybe? We don't really know. We know his name is Adam, and he was someone Vanessa was keeping a secret from Wilson and was doing something with Adam that she thought Wilson might kill Adam for. So I'm assuming he's a guy that Vanessa was having an affair with, but they haven't elaborated on that yet. It might be something else. We don't really know. I think if it was an affair, they might have just said so. So the fact that they haven't said what it was yet, maybe it's something else. But I think he is slowly but surely torturing Adam to death. Fantastic Four ending supposedly leaked. Really? Well, don't spoil it, please. I mean, I typically don't mind spoilers, but some people in the chat may. So let's just keep that to ourselves for now. All right. What's Jessica Jones doing for season 2? Well, I don't really know. I think there has been some talk about Jessica Jones showing up in Born Again. I don't think in season 2. I don't think it's season 1, excuse me, but season 2, potentially. I mean, there has been some chatter about Marvel wanting to revive the Netflix shows. I think we know Punisher is coming back, and if there's one other show they'd want to do that with, it would be Jessica Jones. Because, I mean, Luke Cage was kind of mid, and Iron Fist, I don't think was anyone's favorite, really. Although I didn't think Iron Fist was that bad, really. I mean, I'm not defending it. I thought they fixed a lot of the problems in season 2, but yeah, it wasn't like peak television or anything. But yeah, if they could bring Jessica Jones back, that'd be cool with me. I thought season 1 of Jessica Jones was really good. I had a few issues with it. After that, it kind of dropped off because I don't think they had any good villains after Kilgrave died. And in hindsight, killing Kilgrave was probably a mistake. So I didn't really know what to do afterward. I mean, but if they could bring that character back with Kristen Ritter playing her again and just get some more interesting antagonists in there, I think I would absolutely check out Jessica Jones again. Also, there is a way to introduce her, if they wanted to reintroduce her, because they've got this investigator guy working for Matt in the law firm. So if something were to happen to him, we could just bring in Jessica Jones to replace him, possibly. Or what I think is going to happen, that's going to be the way to bring Karen back. Because Karen was the investigator for Nelson, Murdoch, and Page. But after what happened to Foggy, she moved cross-country. Because she's in San Francisco right now. But I believe she's supposed to come back at some point this season. Because I heard somewhere that Karen would appear in 3 episodes this season. I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, I mean, she's bound to come back. I believe Brad Winderbaum said that her and Foggy would both return in season 2. But I think Karen is coming back this season. So the logical way to do it would be for the investigator guy to get killed. And then Karen comes back to replace him. So I think that's what's going to happen. Or, failing that, could be Jessica Jones. Could make sense either way. I don't know if Jessica Jones would want to work for a law firm. But she is a PI. Karen Page comes back during the Punisher arc, apparently. Okay, cool. Toast Gaming, I love your videos. Hey, thank you very much. I wish I could get videos out more often. I mean, that is a regret I have. I know I fell off last year due to things that were out of my control. Because at the start of the year, last year, so a year ago at this point, it was like everything was going wrong. I was having lots of technical difficulties, and I also got really sick. At the start of the year, I got some kind of bug that was going around and just had this motherfucker of a cold that lasted for like a month. And then right after that, I had gum recession surgery, so that was another month that I couldn't talk. So that was, I got like 1 or 2 videos out in between that time, but that was like a lost 2 months. And then over the summer, I got sick again because it was just so hot and humid, and I really don't do well in hot, humid weather. So that really exacerbated all the problems I already had. So I really felt like shit during the summer. Couldn't get a lot of videos out during that point. And I also I was having another gum recession surgery because I had 2 of them. That's all over with now. I'm feeling somewhat better. Now we're just waiting for some more content to come out. I think, I guess, yeah, Snow White is the next big one. But, it's been kind of a dead period. There's just not a lot of stuff to talk about, and I'm sorry about that. I do want to get videos out for you guys more often. And this is a partial fix, because if I stream Daredevil reviews, I can still get movie reviews out on the weekend. Because I did the premiere episodes in a review format, and then it took me so long that I couldn't talk about Mickey 17. I missed that window. So that's why I switched to reviews. I brought the live streams back, and hopefully we can keep doing them this time. Because I like doing the live streams when the streaming technology works, and it didn't this week. That's why I'm doing it on the webcam on my desktop, because I was going to do it on OBS, and then at the last minute, OBS decided to not work. So it seems to work here. Don't have any of the bells and whistles of OBS, but at least it's functional. So fingers crossed everything works out this time. Callus1234, thank you for the $4.99. Battlestar Galactica, new one, testing you. First half of the finals, the final versus second half. What? I'm sorry, I don't know what's Battlestar Galactica, new one. I guess you mean the reboot. The 2000s reboot. New one, testing you. First half of the final versus the second half. First half of the finale versus the second half, you mean? I'm sorry. Maybe you typed that really quickly. I'm not sure what you're trying to tell me here. Boy, the Battlestar Galactica reboot. Damn, that was a good show, wasn't it? Holy shit! One of my favorite shows of all time. Yeah, it got really weird in the final season. They did kind of jump a few sharks there, but I don't care. Even at its worst, that was a damn good show. You don't think White Tiger being shot was a head fake? I'm thinking like a copycat thing. Well, it's always possible, but they did show Hector suiting up and putting the mask on. And I don't like how that story was ended. I mean, it wasn't even that surprising to me, because once he won the case, I was pretty sure that they were going to kill him at the end. It just seemed to me that it was all a little bit too easy. It didn't seem like this was going to have a happy ending, so I assumed they're going to kill him, aren't they? I didn't think they'd do it that way. I mean, I thought he'd at least, go out like a hero. I mean, give him a fight scene. Give him something heroic to do. He's just walking down the street and gets shot in the head from someone who's just standing there. Okay, yeah, it's a little surprising that the dude has the Punisher logo. I guess we're meant to think that maybe Frank Castle did it. I don't think he did. It's one of those crooked cops. So what are they doing with the Punisher logo? Having co-opted it for some purpose? I don't know what that purpose is. So I'm interested in what that story is, but I didn't like how White Tiger went out at all. I think never actually showing him doing anything. That was a big mistake. He gets one fight scene, and he's just in street clothes trying to, protect a guy getting beat up by two crooked cops. He doesn't even have his amulet or his costume. He's just a guy in street clothes. He's not really the White Tiger there. He's just Hector, Good Samaritan. I need the riots to roast Thunderbolts if it isn't good. Oh, I will, if it isn't good. Trust me. Thunderbolts is a weird one. It seems a little too obvious that Marvel is trying to recreate the Guardians of the Galaxy formula with Thunderbolts, because James Gunn has moved on. So it's like, okay, let's try to do what James Gunn did with like this motley crew of misfit characters all thrown together. It is a little too obvious what they're doing. And it seems like they're trying to recreate that style, like that vibe that James Gunn had with the Guardians of the Galaxy, but it seems to have been handled by people who are not as clever or as witty as James Gunn. Because you see some of the jokes in the trailer, and it's like, I don't know, the jokes all seem like low-hanging fruit. Yelena's dad is really embarrassing. LOL. Yeah, hey, I was the real Captain America. Yeah, for like 2 seconds. LOL. None of those jokes got a laugh out of me. I do like these actors, though. It's possible the actors could save it. But another thing is that I don't think they really know how to market this movie, because there was one trailer that made it look like Yelena was the main character. It really focused heavily on her. And then another trailer comes out, it makes it look like Bucky is the main character, focuses heavily on him. And there have been several trailers that have completely different tones. So I don't know what the hell kind of movie this is supposed to be anymore. And it doesn't seem like the studio does either. So I don't know what they're doing with Thunderbolts. It doesn't look bad. I don't think it looks amazing either. So, that one's a wait and see. Could be good. I do like the cast. So, we'll give it a shot. Give it a shot. It looks better than Captain America 4 did. All right. All right. If we don't have any more super chats, I guess we can wrap it up at that point. At this point, because again, my voice doesn't last for very long. It lasts a little longer than it used to, but there's still a problem. Yeah, okay. So, webcam still looks good. Oh, okay, thank you. That's the built-in webcam on my desktop computer here. I've got the HD webcam mounted right on this, and I was going to use that, but then OBS crapped out. I gotta screw with that. I'm excited for Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic to tear Snow White apart. Bro, I am excited to tear Snow White apart. Man, I've had all those interview clips of Rachel Ziegler just sitting on my hard drive since I reviewed One Piece like last year, because I made that little compilation of how to properly promote a live action adaptation versus how not to. I used all those clips of Rachel Ziegler. I've kept those because I don't throw anything out. I keep all that footage. It's on my hard drive now. I'm wondering, will I be able to use this for the Snow White review somehow? Because everybody's seen those clips by now, but it seems like a shame to not use them. I've just been trying to think of what jokes I can do for that review. Oh, man. My one concern is that it's not going to be offensively bad. It's just going to be really lame and boring. But who knows? I mean, there's so much anticipation for this Snow White thing. I'm really hoping that it just blows my mind with how horrible it is. If it's just boring, that's going to be so disappointing. I want this thing to just knock my socks off with how gloriously terrible it is. I would have cried at Nick Fury's character assassination in that show. Assume you mean Secret Invasion? Yeah. Yep, did not bother with that one. Couldn't review it because I was recovering from surgery. I figured, well, if I'm not reviewing it, I'm sure as hell not going to watch it. Didn't even really like the comic story. Started out good, then it descended into complete nonsense. Okay. All right. How can anyone throw the captain's shield without super soldier serum? Well, they kind of explained it in the movie. Sam can throw it well because he has a vibranium suit. So I guess the suit augments him physically. But then we see him when he's not wearing the suit, and he can throw the shield just fine. So that was a problem. And I talked about that when I reviewed Captain America 4. Like, Sam's power level fluctuates depending on what the scene needs to happen. So whatever a scene needs his power level to be in order to get them to the next scene, that's what it is. So sometimes he can throw the shield just fine. Sometimes it's as if he has super soldier strength when he's not wearing the suit. Sometimes he needs the suit, sometimes he doesn't. It doesn't really matter. There's no rhyme or reason to any of it. And that's what happens when you reshoot the movie like 2 or 3 times and then you incorporate versions of each thing into the final product. The whole thing is a giant mishmash, and you wind up with a whole bunch of loosely connected scenes that don't really make sense. You should review Amelia Perez. I passed on Amelia Perez, and that might have been a mistake because there was so much noise that ended up getting made about Amelia Perez. I decided, like, after the Oscars, I thought, man, everybody seems to hate this thing. I mean, they're really coming down hard on it. I kind of got curious about it, actually, but then I decided, you know what? Maybe I'll just be happier if I don't watch it. I mean, if I had reviewed it when it first came out, that probably would have gotten that video probably would have done very well. Missed opportunity there. Oh well. I hate the misconception of vibranium because of how Black Panther, who is a super soldier, was wearing a kinetic suit, and people think anyone can tank anything wearing it. Yeah, well, another problem with that is they made vibranium a Deus Ex Machina metal. It can do literally anything. If you have vibranium, well, that can create incredible advances in any technology you can imagine. You can have flying cars and incredible medical technology that can cure anything except whatever mysterious disease T'Challa had. Although we don't know that for sure because T'Challa kept his disease a secret, even though his country has medical technology the entire world could barely dream of. But yeah, they turned vibranium into a metal that can do anything. It can store and release kinetic energy. It can do all this other shit. And now they're saying adamantium can do all that stuff, but better. You do realize the problem you just created for yourselves, don't you? No, apparently not. Okay, all right. So we'll see what happens when Wolverine shows up, because I guess that means Wolverine's going to have all these bullshit powers too that come from adamantium, when all adamantium is adamantium is supposed to be the indestructible metal. It's not supposed to be something that can do 50 other things. Didn't get a notification. Oh, I'm sorry. One problem I had with the live streams in the past is that YouTube wouldn't let me schedule them for some reason. I talked to the tech support people. They couldn't figure it out either. Is one of the reasons why I stopped doing them, because I couldn't schedule them in advance. Couldn't figure out why. It just didn't work. So it was really tough getting audiences for the live streams because people didn't know when they were. I'd put up like a notice in the community tab and on Twitter and something. It just wasn't the same. Finally got to schedule it this time. So hopefully people found it. If you didn't get a notice, I'm sorry. In the future, I'll try to keep doing these at the same time and the same day. So figure if Daredevil episodes drop on Tuesday night, then I'll try to keep doing these live streams on Wednesday night around 10:30. So I'm not sure what time that would be for people in the Central Time Zone or on the West Coast. But I hopefully that's convenient enough for everybody. So I watch AEW Dynamite and then I pop on here 20 minutes later. Hopefully it all works out. So I will try to continue scheduling these things at the same day and time. So hopefully people will know when they are now. So if you missed it, you didn't get a notice, it'll be same time slot next week, unless something changes. Thanks for joining me tonight. Thanks for talking Daredevil with me. Maybe I can get OBS to work by next week. I'm going to have to watch some how-to videos or not. I'm not sure what went wrong because I thought everything was working right, and then suddenly, half an hour before the live stream, I get this error message. It keeps shutting down. Would you like to start it again in safe mode? Yeah, okay. It shuts down again. I don't know what's going on. But so we're this stream from a webcam built into the desktop, and everything seemed to work fine. Okay. Again, thanks for tuning in. If you missed any part of the stream, once I stop it, once the stream is over, I will put this stream on private and then upload it to the live stream channel, which you can get a link to in the video description. It's right down there. Thrias Unlimited live streams. There's a link to it, so click on that. Subscribe to the live streaming channel. This live stream should be up on that channel by tomorrow. I just need to rip this live stream, then upload it there. I also need to remember what the password is because I haven't used that one in a while. I can figure it out. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for coming back for the live stream. First one I've done in, I think, a couple of years. Yeah, it took that long to finally, I don't know, find some meds that made me feel halfway decent. Still not quite there, but at least I can talk okay now, breathe okay. That's a lot better than it's been for the last couple of years. Doesn't sound good, but it is an improvement, believe it or not. Thanks again for tuning in. Thanks for talking to me tonight. Thank you very much for the super chats we got from Callus1234. Callus1234 had 2 super chats, and also from Krispy Kreme, I think it was. Where is the? Yeah, it was Krispy Kreme. I thought they were here. Hold on. Now. Oh, well, let me check. All right, never mind. I'm pretty sure it's Krispy Kreme. You who left me super chats, you know who you are. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Same day, same time next week, where we'll talk about Daredevil episode 4. I will talk to you then, and hopefully, if there's a movie I want to talk about opening this weekend, I'll have another review for you in the meantime. Thank you again. Thanks for talking to me. I will see you guys later. Again, if you want to see the whole stream, check out the live streaming channel. Click the link down below. It should be up by tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.